In a move that can only be described as a grand finale of a Middle Eastern tour, President Donald Trump has touched down in the United Arab Emirates, marking the first visit by a U.S. president since George W. Bush's trip in 2008. Yes, you heard it right, folks. Nearly 30 years of presidential absence, and who else but the Donald himself would be the one to break the streak? Let's just say the UAE rolled out the red carpet, and who can blame them? When you've got a head of state who knows how to make an entrance like Trump, you prepare for a spectacle. Now, before we dive into the treasure chest of business deals, let's talk about the man of the hour's stellar track record on this tour. Trump has already secured some pretty hefty business agreements in Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and now with the UAE being one of the U.S.'s key trading partners, one has to wonder, what more could they possibly bring to the table? $1 trillion deal here, $1 trillion deal there. It's like Oprah's favorite things, but with global economies. The UAE, ever the generous host, has already pledged a mind-boggling $1.4 trillion investment in the U.S. economy. That's trillion with a T, folks. This includes ambitious plans for AI infrastructure, semiconductor projects, energy initiatives, and a revival of American manufacturing. They're even planning to dust off the old aluminum production lines and build a new smelter, which hasn't been done in 35 years. Talk about going all in. As if that's not enough, the State Department sweetened the pot on the eve of Trump's visit with a $1.4 billion arms sale to Abu Dhabi. Yes, the UAE is about to get a shiny new set of CH-47 F-Chinook helicopters and F-16 fighter jet parts. Because who doesn't need a few more helicopters and fighter jets in their arsenal, am I right? But wait, there's more. Lawmakers, ever the wet blankets, are threatening to rain on this parade by potentially blocking the sale. Their concerns? Well, it's all about those pesky personal business ties. You see, Trump's very own crypto venture is getting a cool $2 billion investment from a UAE-backed firm. Just a coincidence? You decide. John Hanna, a former national security advisor and a senior fellow at GINSA, chimed in with his 2 cents to Fox News Digital. According to him, the Emiratis are likely saving some of the juiciest announcements for when Trump is actually on the ground in Abu Dhabi. And who could blame them? When you're hosting a showman like Trump, you want to ensure the fireworks go off at the right moment. The UAE has its sights set on becoming the Middle East leader in 21st century technologies, from AI to space exploration. And let's not forget the endless shopping list of high-end weapons. It's like Christmas came early for military enthusiasts. Of course, Trump's Middle East tour hasn't escaped the all-seeing eye of scrutiny. Some are raising eyebrows over his personal interests in the region. After all, the Trump organization has its fair share of luxury resorts, hotels, golf courses, and real estate projects sprinkled throughout these lands. But let's be real. What's a little personal business interest between friends, right? Saudi Arabia and Qatar in particular have been instrumental in facilitating U.S. negotiations over some of the world's thorniest issues, from the war in Ukraine to hostage negotiations in the Gaza Strip. Strangely, these weren't hot topics during Trump's visits there. But who knows? Maybe the UAE will be the place where geopolitics take the front seat. The UAE, as it turns out, has maintained a somewhat complex relationship with the U.S. and its adversaries. With ties to China, Russia, and Iran, there's no shortage of potential conversation starters for Trump's one-day visit. Will he address the elephant in the room? Only time will tell. John Hanna speculates that while dollar signs and deal-making will likely dominate the headlines, he's most intrigued by the potential reset of the U.S. Emirati strategic partnership. It's all about great power competition with China, and to a lesser extent, Russia, with a special focus on the regional dynamic with Iran. Sounds like a geopolitical soap opera, doesn't it? Hanna suggests that Trump's visit signals a renewed commitment by the U.S. to support Abu Dhabi's stability, security, and success in what he calls a dangerous neighborhood. And who doesn't love a good neighborhood watch? In closing, the UAE's leadership seems to be reevaluating its strategic alliances. With past U.S. presidents viewing the Middle East as a lost cause, Trump's visit could be the first step in mending fences and building bridges. After all, who can resist the charm of a man who once famously described the region as nothing but blood and sand? So, dear viewers, what are your thoughts on Trump's Middle Eastern escapades? Do you think the deals will bring lasting benefits, or are they just smoke and mirrors? Drop your comments below and let's get the conversation started. And if you've enjoyed this satirical take on the news, why not hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up? Your support helps us continue breaking down the news with a touch of humor and a dash of irony. Stay tuned for more.